Yeah, from the block to the blockchain. I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole gang. From the block to the blockchain. I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole gang.
What it do, baby? It's your boy Blockhead coming at you with the absolute best in DeFi. I'm not going to say this twice, but this is not financial advice. Hey, today's a good day. August the 11th. Ethereum's moving. The markets are doing well. And it's a good way to start the week. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, one of the pioneer builders of Pulse Chain. And hey, without further ado, let's bring up Mr. Crypto Kong. Hey.
What up? I like your
bro?
intro. Did you make that song?
No, that's actually from a fellow friend of mine in the trenches. He made that for me about a year ago.
It's actually pretty sweet. So,
Hey man, it's Monday, August 11th. Ethereum crossed 4,300 over the weekend. What are your thoughts?
I'm bullish. We've been talking about this a lot in the alliance and stuff actually, but it looks like there's a bit of a ETH season happening right now, and I think chances are once we see it break above 5,000, start closing some green candles, we get above like $5,200. I think we'll see our altcoins pop off. But it was good with I think there's a lot of bullish events that people are perhaps overlooking, with Richard even tweeting. I think the last lines in his tweet was the match has almost been struck, or the match is almost struck. So if you're looking at it like that, and you're looking at ETH, and you're looking at his Ethereum reserves, like it looks like things are starting to turn around a little bit, whether people see it so much or not. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think.
What about you?
Yeah, I think people are finally starting to catch on. You know, we've been over here screaming in this echo chamber for the whole. Starting to realize how important this. We cut out a little bit. You hear me?
Are you cutting out, or is it me on my end? I think you're cutting out.
All right.
You should be back now.
Yeah. We're good. You hear me fine?
You're back now. Is that on my end, or is that you?
I'm not sure. I was trying to use my other device, but hey, we're all good. Colin, what was your welcome to crypto moment before you found Pulse Chain and Hex?
Oh, that's a good question. Mine was it was actually a little bit of Shiba Inu. That token kind of on its run up a little bit. I definitely found it a little late, but that was a little bit of like welcome to crypto before I found like Hex and Pulse Chain and all that. Yeah, that thing, I didn't make a 10,000x or anything like that, but it kind of showed me what crypto is capable of. And then I started looking more and more into it, and that's kind of how I discovered Hex a little bit, kind of a little bit after that.
So with your skill set, the skill set that you've had has of course evolved with the needs that Pulse Chain has provided. What led you to take your data skill sets and translate it to websites and tools that we use today?
It's actually a good question. So how it all started was I think everyone likes to see the data and the metrics. Especially when we were taking a look at like things like Hex. Back in the days, there was all the different websites, all the different apps, everyone built on Hex in a way, just kind of providing value to the community. I kind of started that a little bit in spreadsheets, and spreadsheets are, I mean, they're pretty good for a lot of things, but the websites actually just arguably, like if you know how to code, it's easier to get the same result and better just with the website. So that's kind of how everything started with like the whole looking to PDGC and like those public facing sites and everything like that. I decided like I was doing a lot of the data gathering behind the scenes, and I thought like why not kind of make a website and kind of automate a lot of this and have it on display for the people and stuff. So that's kind of how it came about.
Well, I think now people use the PTGC Moon Math Calculator more than they use Pampy and other apps like that. So, hey, man, you made a banger there.
That's the thing
Whenever
is,
you're building
honestly, I have
it,
no idea. I
oh, you
think
got it.
Pampy. I think a lot of people still use that one. And honestly, I've no idea about how many visitors he gets or anything like that. But what I will say too is, there's, I wouldn't have built the things that I build there. I think I'm very particular in what I decide to like kind of spend that time on, and that what I'm looking for is like something with product market fit. So whether like the Moon Math Calculator, it was actually funny. I think both me and Pampy pretty much launched on the same day, and it's just kind of a coincidence a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, I would only build on things really with product market fit or that have sort of product market fit, and I think that's kind of constantly evolving and changing in crypto, especially on Pulse Chain. Like Pulse Chain's kind of a unique ecosystem where some of the things that have product market fit here might not have the same product market fit on other chains, but they are successful on Pulse Chain. So
How many drafts and reiterations do you have to work through to get to something that's something that sticks, something that really has good product market fit?
that's a good question too. And like a good example of this is like even the balancer and the whole like sniper swap and everything like that. What I'll say is like that sniper swap was a work in progress pretty much for a very long time. It was one of those things I had on the back burner and I would kind of touch on, and then something, it's not up to par, and then you kind of go back to it and go back to it and go back to it. But I think you need a lot of iterations, and you need a lot of like you don't want to I think you don't want to over invest in like the all the bells and whistles from the start, and it's just good to have like a baseline, get feedback from people, see what kind of questions they're asking, see how you can streamline that experience for them, and kind of iterate on that. But the balancer, like if you guys have been following me, and even if you've been in the alliance for a while, like you've seen a lot of the things that we look at today evolve from like notepads to spreadsheets to more kind of more automated spreadsheets, and then kind of like automated websites at that point. So
Well, like when we're in a space that's so new, you almost like the infrastructure has to be set so that people feel comfortable to invest, and people need to be comfortable in investing in the right people. So what do you ever like hit a roadblock when you're trying to make something that has value? Because when you're authors, they run into roadblocks all the time, or writer's block, as you'd call it. Do you ever run into a situation where you just got to step away and pick it back up later?
all the time, like pretty much, yeah, pretty much all the time. Like I think that's just what it is. And like even if you're doing something, like it requires a little bit of persistence, but also being able to kind of give it up and move on to the next thing, but also go back and pick it back up when you kind of have a little bit more context or a little bit more information. Because I'll say even a lot of the things on, like, look into PDGC as an example. A lot of the things on there were kind of translations of spreadsheets onto a website. So like it wasn't, you have to come up with a way to display it and all that type of stuff. But in terms of what was going on behind the scenes, and a lot of it was even Python too, and just grabbing some different metrics with Python and kind of saving them. But you can kind of do this very similar sort of thing on a website, right? And it just requires, I think it requires a lot of iteration, and you do have to kind of sleep on it and think about like how can this be made better? How can this be made smoother? How can I improve this? And over time, like you will, I think you will. I mean, ideally you're iterating in the right way, but yeah, and some things won't stick right away either. I think that's the thing about why I say is you need to build with product market fit, because if you don't, then people aren't, they're not going to care. They're not going to use your stuff. And to an extent, you can use like marketing and all that stuff, but if you have product market fit, then people will use your product because they have to in a way, or they they actually, there's an actual value for it. So
Everybody has their little tactics in terms of marketing, tokenomics, stuff like that. But the one thing you can't replicate is the community. And you've been building on Pulse Chain since the beginning, and the older crowd and the younger crowd alike, they respect you as a leader. So how does that make you feel knowing where Pulse Chain is headed, knowing that you're building and it's actually making a difference? It's actually helping the community.
I think it's really positive, and those were kind of a bit of my intentions coming into this, where like I want to provide a valuable product or service, which is like, look into PDGC, and even a lot of that stuff is free. The sniper swap is kind of a valuable product there, and there's just like a little bit of a fee to interact with it. So yeah, in that sense, like, yeah, I came here to build and just to kind of provide value, and I think you get value in return from that. And I think I've done a fairly good job of just like kind of keeping in my own, at least trying my best to keep in my own lane a little bit, and just like build for the betterment of Pulse Chain. And I think like we're all here on the same chain. I think there's plenty of room for everyone, right? So and I understand this, and like that's why I think it is very positive when you kind of have especially when people can kind of see the value in what's being built behind the scenes and everything like that. So
Yeah, speaking of building and having, longer set goals, I think yesterday was the anniversary of the X protocol, right? Was it
that is
August 10th?
true. So do you mind if I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let me share my screen here. Got a little chart set up, but yeah. Today we're 1 year, 1 day old on X protocol. So keep in mind, I think most charts in crypto don't even last probably don't even last a year. X protocol, especially on Pulse Chain, where Pulse Chain hasn't been, the most up token in the entire world, right? Certainly see how it's performed, and it's made these higher lows and everything like that. We'll touch a little bit more into X protocol as well, but
Yeah, I'm
see
surprised
like how
that
the holders are and stuff.
it seems like it's just creating higher lows the whole way through, especially the summer when everybody's chasing pump.tire memes. X held its floor pretty well.
Hex, and you said Hex. I also think you're talking about X too, right? So
No, I said X. Sorry about that. Yeah, the X protocol it
yeah.
held it was
So
making higher lows on its own.
and it's looking quite strong. Like even if we draw like a bit of a trend line, like right here, like it's holding up, right? So that's the important. I think that's the important part. Like it's done 1.7 million transfers in the past pretty much year in 1 day. See like some of the top holders here. Pretty sure these are LP pools, so we'll check them out. Yeah, this is the X PTGC pool. You can see that's a top holder. We'll check out if this is another pool or something else. Yeah, XWPLS. So you can see like liquidity is pretty much the top holder, top holders of the token plus dead address as well. And then you got some other addresses here that hold
What
a
is that? Is that
little chunk of
4%?
change, but
That's 4% of the X protocol burnt forever.
just over 3%.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
No.
4% is burn forever here. Yeah, and there's actually more X protocol burn, and I'll show you guys where it is. So here is the X token contract. If we go inside of the tokens here, there's another 37,000 X inside of this contract, which is effectively burnt in a way. You're not able to, yeah, the contracts, like you're not able to receive these tokens, so they're kind of burnt inside of this contract and everything like that. So I'll say I think that's fairly positive as well. On top of that, Liberty Swap has they've listed X protocol, so you're actually able to swap from pretty much base chain, and we'll test this out here.
That's pretty thick, especially with all the hype going around Liberty Swap lately.
Yeah, you can swap directly from base chain into X protocol. So when we're talking about, onboarding and everything like that, this should be this should be a lot simpler and a lot better for users and stuff. Liquidity pool now live on Pulse chain.
Well, essentially, Liberty Swap is like what, 3 or
But
4 clicks to get your tokens? I mean, it's pretty easy from a
what was
user
that?
standpoint.
Three or four steps?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you have to wait a long time or click too many buttons to get to be able to bridge through.
No, not at all, right? You shouldn't need to click. You shouldn't. Yeah, you really shouldn't need to click many buttons at all. Think you not and yeah. Here's X. Uh, you just need to find X there. Type in your amount and everything like that. You could do $200 worth, enter your destination address, and you're pretty much in the system at that point, right? And if you can get someone, you can send yourself over some PLS as well, if you want to get some gas fees over too. But yeah, I think it's extremely positive that we're seeing X get listed on some of these top exchanges and stuff. So.
Yeah, definitely, especially with what's going on and what's about to happen. I mean, everybody's speculating on a very bullish close to August going into September. So yeah, everything's happening right on time. You see Coach tweeting a whole lot more, and yeah, very excited for the X protocol.
Should be really exciting times, and like we got the sniper swap too. There's always new updates, and even like sometimes there's like little bug fixes on the front end and stuff. But yeah, these contracts they've been out pretty much since the launch of Sniper Swap, and everyone seems like they're having a good time. They've gotten a pretty good deal on a lot of these tokens on Pulse chain. I think people have actually seen how Sniper Swap can be a very effective tool in their toolbox, right? Because I even say is like shouldn't only have one swap or one way to interact with PulseX, right? And we do kind of have some other aggregators, but those things don't let you trade fee on transactions tokens and everything like that. And like I think one thing I will also say about the Sniper Swap, which I've gotten really used to this, and every time I go to PulseX, I'm looking for this feature is like showing the taxes, and the buffer, pretty much the buffer is like, it's crazy to me because that thing is like, I think it's so easy to add, and it adds like so much to your quality of life.
Hold on.
You will.
We got to take a step back. what Kong is showing us is tokentrader.win, right? Tokentrader.win, guys, for those in the trenches, for those trying to snipe launches and stuff, it's a great tool. It has a gas buffer. You can multiply your gas input to force your transaction through. You can set your slippage to upwards to 99%. Not that you'd ever need it, but tokentrader.win is awesome. The sniper swap is really neat. You have the portfolio balancer on another tab. And what Kong is showing us is real deal live in action. So yeah, go ahead, Kong.
Yeah, thanks for that context. I kind of I skip over because on streams like I don't know. Like I always
No, like you said, you're so used
I
to
always
it.
think
But
like everyone on the stream has like seen some other streams, you know? Yeah.
what I really like about this is
So
that
yeah,
you know what I really like about it is that you can connect your wallet from any wallet. I use it on mobile. I use a MetaMask on mobile and it works fine. I use Rabby on the computer and it works fine. And you're able to execute these trades. And what makes this sniper swap really, really badass is you can trade exotic pairs without having to go through the smart router. You can go directly into the LP pool, and I think people should keep an eye on that right there, especially like funky launches that got really exotic pairs. Something to keep an eye on.
I think there was a point in time on Pulse Chain where we had some of these launches were all exotic pairs, right? So you needed to have that whatever token to be able to get in, and this will kind of clean up a lot of those PulseX interactions. What I will say about that is like, you can't multi-hop through 10 different pairs on here to get to, an exotic token. But if there's an exotic token pair and you have one of those tokens, you can trade through it, no problem. So like even here, there's a XWPLS pair. If I wanted to do a swap here, yeah, it would quote me and I would be basically swapping directly through the pair. And like even this is one of my favorite features, is pretty much taking a look at the taxes, and this is live up to date on chain. So anytime anytime like if the contract changes their taxes or anything like that, you'll see it pop up here. And I think like it's crazy to me anytime I go to PulseX now, like when features like that, when I can't see the taxes on a token, it kind of I feel like I'm missing something. So this to me is like one of my favorite features, being able to see that buy and sell tax and everything. So
have you considered making this more
and
compatible?
what I will say too is oh yeah, definitely. That's in the works now. The thing about pump tires is like there is tokens that launch there, but I don't know how much volume they do. Although I think that the guys trading those tokens would like kind of a sniper swap interface. So I'm gonna look into it, and hopefully we can get pump tires implemented on this. But yeah, currently it is trading through PulseX, and like you can even see here, like it'll give you the best quote between V1 and V2. So if I'm trading 300 pulse, it's actually the V2 pool that's a slightly better price. But if I trade, let's say I trade 15 grand worth of pulse, now the V1 pair gives a lot better deal, and it'll automatically route you through there. So that's another cool feature, is like it's not really an aggregator, but it does have a little bit of that ability to pick the best price between the different pools and swap through there. So
what utility did you find a fit for this product? Like what need did you see in the trenches that you felt like this was going to be a standalone great project? I remember when you first brought it out, we didn't really understand until you started to explain the gas buffer and the excessive slippage which you can adjust. I mean, those were revolutionary right there.
and that's pretty much what it is. And I needed, or at least I wanted, something like this even for myself, because when I was doing a lot of these token launches on PulseX, like PulseX is very good, and it's very good for I think if it's it's tricky. Like if you're an, I'll say it's good for beginner, but not super beginner users. Like I'll say it's good for that not fully intermediate but beginner user. I think PulseX is a really good swap interface. This is for that more, intermediate advanced level swapper, and like that's kind of what I wanted, was those extra abilities to play around with those settings past like PulseX's 49% limitation for slippage. And then plus what I was doing was like when I was submitting the transactions, going into my wallet and manually adjusting the gas. And I was like, this is like I've already lost the battle at this point. Like if we're all trying to get in at the same time, like if I'm spending 10 seconds adjusting my gas price, it's not happening. So that was another thing that kind of made me want to put this out. And I think there was a little bit of and like what is it, maybe like an echo on the walls for like kind of a sniper bot on Pulse Chain. Like I know a lot of people would like to have more of a sniper swap and everything like that. So I think that's where this kind of comes into play. Plus, I think one of my favorite features that I never really talk about it because it's just immediately obvious, but it's the chart. So anytime you open up a new pair, being able to essentially see that chart in real time while you're trading through it. And I think a lot of dexes do have something like this, but PulseX does not, right? So if I'm trying to snipe a token, there's no time for me to go open up the dex screener and take a look at it over there. I have to go to PulseX immediately. With this, you get, the chart, the swap, the gas buffer, the fees all in one, right? So it's kind of like that one-stop shop for doing all that on Pulse Chain. So
Are you at leeway to discuss the balancer a little bit?
definitely, I'll go over the balancer and the portfolio checker too, because I think that's a cool one. But yeah, the balancer, I'm not gonna connect my wallet to it currently. But what you are able to do is and you'll see when you connect your wallet, your tokens will get sort of imported in, and you're able to adjust your positions. And I think it'd be a lot better if I had like a wallet connected or something. But
Can you just put a
essentially,
random address?
let me go in my other browser and do something like that. So
Okay. Yeah, I remember when the balancer was just spreadsheets, bro. Now it's its own website. Now it has its own little tab, and it looks very, very user friendly. And that's what we need. Yes, especially that's what we need when the eyes are coming.
and yeah, I called it the balancer, but it is also kind of like it's kind of a market maker bot in a way. So here, let me also give this. Here we are. We'll share it on this tab. Looks like it's looking a lot better.
Okay.
And I'll just double check one last thing here. All right. Should be good. Should be good. All right. Here's the page. So
Okay.
here's the balancer. I have this pre-filled amount here. You guys can see like the token logos and all that type of stuff here. Essentially, you're able to see like your current percents and then your target percent. So if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to hold more hex, I could turn my hex allocation up. You can see like I'm over 100% now, which in your portfolio, I mean, you have to make it equal. Pulse a little bit. Let's bring up my X just for fun, and then let's put down the incentive a tiny bit. And then once I'm 100% allocated, keep in mind this will automatically save your positions here, but you're able to click the rebalance button. Assuming you had your wallet connected, you'll see all your rebalance decisions, and you click confirm. You do the approvals. You click one time to swap, and it'll pretty much rebalance your portfolio in one click. So that's kind of the it's kind of the idea behind it and everything like that. And then we also have the portfolio checker, which this thing is it's fairly self-explanatory. You can enter a wallet address, you add the wallet, maybe give it like 30 seconds to load, just because it is looking at 3 different blockchains for your token. So it's looking at your Ethereum holdings, Base holdings, and Pulse Chain holdings, and you'll be able to see all your tokens and your hex stakes on here. So I know sometimes the hex app takes a minute to load. It should load your hex stakes a lot faster than the hex app. So yeah, that's kind of the quick little overview of the site. And like one thing I will say too is if you guys check out like pretty much why I choose tokentrader.win, you can see like some cool stuff here about like why this web, and of like anything can be insecure, but what I will say about crypto is like a lot of this stuff on the site, and maybe I'll bring up one last thing here, but pull this away. That should
Yeah,
be
like
good.
you don't have to connect your main wallet with all your holdings. You know, strictly use a contraceptive wallet, a condom wallet, whatever you want to call it, a degen trading wallet. You know, always practice proper blockchain safety. But what you're saying is that this does come with a little bit of extra layers of protection.
Yes, that's correct. Like, of course, not you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's like, use a condom wallet. There's also the trading bot wallet here that you're able to create. It's kind of like the same thing when you go into a Telegram bot and you're able to kind of sign those transactions with by pasting a contract address or doing something like that. You can do that on here as well. And what I would say is that like on a Telegram, on those type of bots, like they are hosted on someone else's computer. And on top of that, like when you have 10 people trying to use the same bot, or even if you have like 100 people or 1,000 people all trying to use the bot at the same time, like it's all going to be on one computer's hardware, right? This is going to be more so using, your computer, not really someone else. It's not storing your seed phrase or anything like that on someone else's computer. And keep in mind, like, you can pretty much use any wallet you want, whether you want to create an encrypted one on the site, or if you want to connect your MetaMask, your Rabby, your Ledger, your Trezor, anything you want. But definitely, I would say definitely use a degen wallet. Like with anything, you should have like, different wallets for PulseX, different wallets for, the staking protocol, different wallets for, degenning and sniping and all that. So yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, we're entering that time where people are looking for efficient tools, and yeah, your products are very user friendly, man. It's really neat. So let's got a couple questions for you before we end off here. But in your eyes, where do you think Pulse Chain is right now? What's your current thoughts on the states of Pulse Chain?
It's a good question. I think it's kind of like what Richard's saying, where like the match is about to get struck, and like I think the people be quite surprised when we start to see everything kind of like take off and do kind of what we think it's going to do. But I think we're in this like I think we are in pre altcoin season. So I think we're just waiting for some of the things like Ethereum to start closing candles above its $4,000, $5,000 level there, and then it should be kind of go time. So
Yeah, I think everybody's speculating on the last week of August. I think between the 23rd and the 25th, we're supposed to see some major marketing moves, and whether it comes in the form of green candles, I'm here for it. Whatever it is, whatever's in those mailers.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the green candles come out of those mailers. I wouldn't. I wouldn't count out Richard just yet or anything like that. So
Yeah, definitely. Colin, what do you have in terms of advice for the builders getting ready to come to Pulse Chain, especially like you'll start to see KOLs and groups migrate from Solana and Base and basically bridge over here to Pulse. What do you have in terms of advice for those guys trying to find somewhere to plant their flags?
That's a good question. I think it's pretty much what I preach is like, take a look at what's the best, and there's clearly, I think there's almost clearly a few winners on Pulse Chain in terms of like, their history and where they've been going and where they have gone, and yeah, I think it's like don't overthink it, right? Just stick with the good stuff. So, but once we see things like Pulse Chain and all that start to take off, like I think we will see the cores kind of shake the room a little bit in terms of even Hex kind of taking the air out of the room a little bit and kind of showing off. So
do you have any updates coming for the token trader coming on, or is there anything that you would like to let us know about? What are you building?
it's a good question. There's almost always going to be updates to that site. Chances are, I think Block will probably have to do another stream. Certain things will have to kind of come out and come together. And if you're in the alliance, like you can kind of have the inside scoop, and like I think when we say that, yeah, when we say that, I think like there's always also, you're sharing your screen, by the way, Blockhead. But
Yeah, I was just showing off the.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. But yeah, I was gonna say when we when people say we have the secret alpha in the group, people are usually just like, it's like whatever. It's like, but in this case, it's like those alliance guys really have kind of the inside scoop, and they even have like pretty much an objective edge over a lot of the people. And like there's gonna be, maybe I'll just say there's gonna be like an even better version of kind of the sniper swap, and there's gonna be some cool stuff coming out surrounding that. So people will have to stay tuned for when that kind of stuff comes out and launches and everything. So
Well, thank you for making something that we all use, especially that token trader, man. That sniper swap is 2-3 clicks and you're in a pool, in and out. So keep up the good work, man. Well, Kong.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I appreciate the like the support from the community, right? Because I think it goes both ways, from like builders spend their time building things, but also like the people, like the people aren't like, I don't think the builders would build if no one spends their time using the products, right? So I think, so yeah, I think there is like a kind of a balance, and it goes both ways between building, but also having users and all that type of stuff. So
I mean, I know it's a lot of fun seeing the final product being used. I know you get some enjoyment that way. But yeah, Kong, the one thing you can't replicate is the community. So thank you for building the way you do.
definitely, yeah, thank you guys. So, and like I said, there's kind of always more stuff coming out. And if you guys have followed even this website, tokentrader.win, the website's been out for a very long time. So even if you look at my pin post on Twitter from April 21st, I was tweeting about the site. Even I could find tweets probably from January tweeting about the same tokentrader.win URL. So I will say that too, is like that site, although the sniper swap hasn't been on there for the entirety of its existence, the site's been around for a long time, and I think if you guys have been following it, you've seen the progression and you've seen the development of it, and I think it's only going to get kind of better and even like closer to those things we see on Solana. So
Oh, definitely, man. If we can get the eyes on the product, then we're good. So people are going to come to the chain looking for all kinds of tools and gadgets to get the edge. And yeah, thank you for making the sniper swap and the portfolio rebalancer, because I remember whenever the chain kind of went down, or not didn't go down, but we lost our major block explorer through D-Bank and Rabby, everybody started building. And that's one thing you can't replicate is the resilience of the community. I mean, I think we had like 4 or 5 block explorers all come out within that first couple of weeks, and they were all being used. So yeah, man, got to keep going.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like, I think that, you know, Rabby kind of unsupported the chain, and then you had the people kind of come in and kind of resupport it. So that was definitely cool to see and all that. But real quick, I just want to share my screen with a little tweet here, because I think it is cool to see the progression, and I don't think a lot of people have actually seen how the site has evolved and where it came from, because I think a lot of people like heard about it after a while, or after this or after that. But let's take a look here. Perfect. So yeah, let's I can't scroll up. That's unfortunate, but let me share this other tweet.
What's the date on that? January 28th? That's before.
It's like the very bottom of the thread. Yeah, January 28th, 2025 at 8 p.m. And then I'm tweeting about tokentrader.win. So yeah, the site's been around for a very long time. And even, I mean, this page, it still exists. I don't know if it might be different content on it now and everything like that, but that's kind of what I mean here is, like, if you've been following me for a while, if you've been following the site for a while, like, you've seen it advance like crazy. So we'll probably continue to do that. So,
well, Colin, whenever you're ready to come back on, talk about some updates, man. Let's show people what you got. Really enjoy watching you build.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to be back. So I think in the coming weeks here, hopefully we can run it back. So
yeah, no worries, man. Well, hey, it's Monday. Let's get going. Really appreciate the time. Thank you for coming on the show, and yeah, very, very happy you're here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, Colin. Talk to you soon, and yeah, talk to you in the Alliance.
Yeah, catch you later, dude.
See you, man.
See you.
Everybody have a good night. Blockhead, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, from the block to the blockchain, I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole gang. From the block to the blockchain, I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole gang.